So, before we start this week's podcast, I just wanted to have a shout out to one of our reviewers, Leighton. So, him and Damon are doing a 24-hour gaming marathon starting on Saturday the 19th of March at 11 AM. That's UK time. They are supporting Macmillan Cancer Support, and they'll be streaming throughout Twitch. And you can find their Twitch stream at twitch.tv/smogvids, and that's SMOGVIDS. So if you want to donate to them, you can go to their Just Giving page, which is justgiving.com/Leighton-Sutherland, or you can text by texting LSDA70 and the amount you wish to donate to 70070. So good luck to Leighton and Damon, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money for Macmillan Cancer Support. So thank you, and on with the show.
Hi, I'm Keith Allen, and I play Murphy on Z Nation, and I listen to One Up Gaming Podcast.
Gaming Podcast, hosted by David, Sean, and Zack.
And we're live. It's One Up Gaming. It's episode 144. Can we go home now?
Yeah, we've been here about 10 seconds.
That's alright. Oh, last week was long. Wasn't it, Zachary?
What happened last week?
We just talked for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but we just had so much to talk about, didn't we? It was just so engaging.
Clearly.
I don't know what you were listening to. Anyway, it's me, David, and I've got a few people this week. We've got Zack.
Hello, everyone. That's all I have to say.
Shows your tattoo, Zack. Go on.
Hey! Yep, there you go. It's like some weird drawing 3D thing that goes into my arm. Black lines and stuff.
It's neat. Literally.
Very artistic. It's very nice.
Are you going to go
spoke as well, but
and get it individual colours put in all the little diamond shit?
I do keep looking at it and
No.
thinking, like...
No.
Or I might, like, do that daily with, like, just a pen. And just
Yeah,
change it.
don't get it tattoo coloured. That would be insane.
I keep looking at it and thinking it would look really cool with, like, the colours. You see in 2001, Space Odyssey, when he's going through the Stargate, I think it's called, and all the colours flying off in all directions. That would look really cool.
Yeah, but...
Maybe I should get on my other arm.
Do you know how often you have to get that touched up?
Yeah, but yeah.
I've had none of mine touched up.
That redone.
Nearly 20 years.
It won't be worth it.
Anyway, we've got Matt as well.
Oh.
Is that it?
I got nothing. I'm just going to say hello.
Do you have a tattoo?
No, I don't. I have a nice t-shirt, though.
They're expensive.
What's your t-shirt?
It's,
You've got to talk as you show it.
It's copyrighted. I can't say anything.
Copyrighted?
Is that what it says? It's copyrighted. I can't say anything.
It's copyrighted. It's Star Wars.
I've got a t-shirt on underneath my dressing gown. It's cold.
And we've also got a new member with us.
Yes.
Hi.
Go on then, Matt. You introduce him.
You're the host.
I'm the host. Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hi, happy to be here. Just coming in, I guess, doing reviews every once in a while and saying hi.
I told you, Matt.
I now understand what you were saying about the robot voice.
Interesting. I don't know what's going on with my microphone situation.
It sounds like Bane gargling meth.
Bane gargling meth. That's a crossover I want to see.
Am I intelligible at least?
No, it's brilliant.
Put it one way, it's the best thing that's happened on the podcast for about 2 years.
Alright, I won't try and fix it then.
No, the best thing that happened on the podcast in the last 2 years was your wheelchair story.
Oh, no. David made someone cry.
Oh, you make someone cry as well.
I made myself cry.
You made yourself cry.
Moving on.
Moving swiftly on.
I want to get a T-shirt done of that story.
It would be one of the most niche jokes ever to enter a T-shirt. Ever.
Yeah. Like,
Do you reckon?
a sum total of about half a class of people would understand that joke.
David, do you want to quickly
No.
do you want to quickly condense the entire story into 30 seconds?
That'd be
Again,
nice.
Right. The story was, I have one of those weird things where if I look at someone that's trying not to laugh, I will burst out laughing. And then once I know people don't want me to laugh, I just can't stop. I start crying and everything. And there was someone stood up at the front of the assembly, so there was 2,000 people in the room. And the guy was telling a story about Christmas. How they were giving out gifts to children, disabled children. And they were forming lines, girls and boys, because they had pre-wrapped presents, so they had piles for boys, piles for girls. And the person went up to this young lad, and they said, "Oh, why aren't you in the line?" And the lad basically says, "Oh, why aren't you in the line for the boys?" And the lad said, "I'm not a boy, I'm a chair." And I literally almost wet myself. I could not stop but laugh. And once everyone turned round and looked at me, that was it. I was uncontrollable. I had to leave the room. But
and in that
yes, I
moment,
think.
there was a problem.
And then we came up with the line, "Don't you get it? A chair." And then that's the line we want to put on a T-shirt. But unfortunately, it's incredibly offensive. It's just it's really.
I want
bad.
to see Eddie's outburst on a T-shirt, just like him on the front, just a picture of him going like that, and on the back of it, it's just no, you are not killing me today, no. I will never forget the look on his face. It will forever amuse me. Primarily because me and he knew it was coming, and he was just shitting himself, or like an invisible enemy came up to his face there.
That was funny.
Well, yeah, I'm quite excited for the highlights of that because that was glorious. It really was. Sleep deprivation.
I mean, you should see some of my other T-shirt designs.
I'm scared.
But the people who do our T-shirts with basically said no.
They basically said no.
Why did they say no, David? Why did they say no?
Racist and sexist and things like that.
Yep, of course.
I can't remember what the hell they were now.
No,
We're not. We are not repeating them on the pod.
We don't want to scare Jordan off. He's only been here 5 minutes. It's like, we're used to your insanity. Let's not.
I'm trying to think now.
No. What's the next segment, please?
Zach, what have you been playing?
Yeah. What have I been playing? Oh, I played Hitman.
Oh.
The Hitman beta. I don't understand what was a beta. It was a demo. It was basically a demo. I played the first level, and
Was it good?
it was quite good. I've only ever played one Hitman game, and that was the supposed best one, Blood Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only one I've played, so that's the only one I can really compare it to. And it seems exactly like Blood Money. It's basically it just goes, there's your guy. It just plonks you in the middle and just goes, do it. And you're sort of standing there like, okay. So the first thing I did was I found a machine gun, so I just went on a rampage, just killed everyone. because there's just like there's no way of controlling that. So you just have to get it out of your system first time. But once I've done that, and you actually sort of sit back and analyze everything that's going on, it does seem incredibly well made in terms of allowing you to just look at your options and look at what you have at your disposal and just sort of either creating glorious chaos or being like the perfect assassin, like just being a ghost going inside this building, murdering your target and then leaving again without anyone seeing you. So for all the people that wanted Hitman Blood Money, you basically have Hitman Blood Money.
But on the PS4.
But on the PS4.
And Xbox One.
And
PC.
And PC. I still don't understand its pricing structure. Can someone explain to me its pricing structure?
What's its pricing
Yes.
structure?
Because it's not a standard game. You buy a starter pack.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. But it has like a starter pack, and then do you buy the rest of the game or something? You buy half the game. And
Right,
buy the rest of it.
basically, when the game was first announced, it was going to be like a monthly sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
you'd buy episodes, and then there was a lot of hate about that, so they changed it, and they delayed it by like 6 months or so, because it was supposed to come out, was it November?
Yeah.
So they've delayed it up until now, which I honestly thought that mean that they'd actually release the whole thing in one go. But they still haven't. They've released the first sort of pack. I think it's got three levels or something?
Yeah, it's like 3 like mission packs, and you get. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
That's
you get certain missions
the
around it.
stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
It's overcomplicating
But
something it doesn't really need to be
You
complicated.
can either buy the first pack for like 15 quid, and then you can buy the rest for like 35 or something, or you can buy the whole thing outright for like 45 or 50 quid.
Yeah.
But even if you buy it outright, you've got to wait for the others to be released in a few months.
Yeah, it's a little bit
It-
stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
They're basically trying to capitalize on the whole episodic market thing
That
by
Telltale Games
taking an actual game and cutting it up into episodes that really don't need to be there. I don't know, it's really weird.
Especially now that it got delayed that long, they should have had the whole thing ready by now.
Yeah.
Apart from Life is
The
Strange.
only thing I can say.
Apart
Yeah.
from Life is Strange.
Yeah. The only thing I quite like the Hitman games, but after playing Hitman Blood Money, I kind of got a bit bored of it for 3/4 of the way. So I might actually be interested in buying the 15-pack starter pack, £15 starter pack, and just being happy with that. Because I guess that's what they want me to
I'd
do.
be happy with that demo. I'd be happy with that.
The demo, the demo gives you one level, and it's not. It's not
That's
a
all
massive
you
level.
need.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all you need.
Um,
But I don't know about you, Zack, but for me, that Hitman, it seems to have been stripped back a hell of a lot compared to what it used to be. It seems a lot more basic.
I mean, from what I understand, Absolution kind of took it up a notch and turned it into like an action adventure game, and it was quite linear.
No.
From what I understand,
No.
or more so.
You could change the difficulty levels, where you could have it on expert, where it was basically Hitman, or you could have it on easy, and it'd show you the path of the guards, where they were going and stuff to make
Right,
it easier.
Yeah,
But
so
if
none
you
of
had
that,
it
none
on
of that-
expert mode, it was just like Hitman.
yeah. So none of that's in Hitman now. They've just removed everything. You basically just got a man. I don't even think you have a HUD, but I think you have a map, and you have.
But to
yeah,
me, I think even the animation doesn't look as good as it did on like the 360 and PS3 with the Absolution.
again, I haven't played Absolution, so I can't comment.
Okay.
I've just killed.
What
the
else have you
conversation.
played?
I played that Fortnite game.
We can't
Which-
talk about that.
We cannot talk
We
about,
haven't
so I
played
won't.
that.
We haven't played it. Absolutely not. Don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
What is Fort Showdown?
No, we don't, no one knows what that is.
Completely
I
forgot.
I think it's
Honestly.
So
To
professional.
be
think
fair,
it's 20
to be fair,
embargo list.
that was when they said you could release your reviews. They didn't say anything about talking about it. But I'm not
I'll
going to
just
argue.
talk about it then, I don't care.
No, I'm not going to.
Well, I interviewed the
What showdown
developers,
are we
so,
talking
you know.
about? Don't talk about David. What have I been playing? Football Manager. I've been playing Football Manager again because I'm still obsessed with that. It's just one of the easiest games to play.
I've actually brought my little tablet to
your
see my
tablet,
stats from the Football Manager.
Read us through your Football Manager stats.
You talk about what you've been doing while I load it up.
So I basically started a new career mode with Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Lost my first match 3-1. Rage quit. Started again.
Come on, you Gunners.
Started again.
It's really realistic, that.
I lost the first... Yeah, shut up, David. I lost the first game 3-1 again, but I decided to persevere. And I beat Manchester United 3-0, and I was well happy. That's as far as
happy.
I got. The thing is, it takes so long to get through a season in Football Manager as well. Oh my god, you can play it for hours and hours and hours and hours, and you literally have got through hours and hours and hours of game time, when you really want to be by the end of the season after about 10. Not even 10.
What is that
Five.
binging noise?
Like you was on FIFA. On FIFA, you can just see every game.
That's all the emails coming through as I've just turned my tablet on.
Oh, right.
That's what I've got to put up with.
Do you want to turn the sound off, David?
I can't because it's now just started loading the game up.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how to do it on here.
I played something topical. I played the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta thing over the weekend.
Ooh.
So did I.
Yeah, but Dave probably hates
I
it.
think we talked about it last week.
We couldn't have played it last week because it only started last weekend.
Yeah, it came out Friday morning.
Oh, I hadn't played it then, so I'm going to talk about it now.
Okay.
I really don't see the point in Uncharted multiplayer. That's my review.
I don't see the point of Uncharted.
The Uncharted single-player games are quite good. I quite enjoy them for what they are. They're nothing incredible. They're just they're basically just playing an Indiana Jones film. That's what it is. And every now and then you get to punch someone in the face, and you kill about 3,000 people, making him probably more vicious than Agent 47 in Hitman.
I thought you were going to say Hitler then.
Not that far. But he is absolutely. What's the guy's name? Drake. He is a psychopath. You kill so many people. Nathan Drake, that's the one. You kill so many people in those games. But the multiplayer is. There's no reason to play the multiplayer whatsoever because it brings nothing new to the table, and it's mechanically really, really slow. Like when your character turns, he doesn't turn; he runs around in a circle, and that really annoys me. Because if there's someone behind you, you want to turn around so you can shoot him.
Turn around.
But he doesn't, and it takes you about 3 years to walk around. It's just everything's so painfully slow. It's not like Call of Duty where everything is so quick and twitchy, but at the same time it's too slow to be considered like tactical or clinical in any kind of way, and it's just frustrating. I hate it, absolutely hate it.
So yeah, we can tell that Zack's been playing some really good games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still need to play Uncharted 3 actually.
I've never played an Uncharted game.
If you do you have a PlayStation?
You know I have a PlayStation.
You do have a PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah, Bloodborne.
So every third sentence, Bloodborne.
This time last year.
Yeah. If you see the Uncharted collection for like 20 quid, it's definitely worth it. If you have a spare 20 quid lying about, and you want some really easy gaming, it's just the easiest game in the world.
And they're only like a couple hours each, so it's not even that too much of a time commitment.
Exactly, yeah. You can fit. I played because when I bought it, I played the first 2 in about 10 hours.
Yeah.
You can just blast through them, and you're kind of playing it, but it's just so fun. It's just quite fun. There's not really much you can say about it apart from it's just pretty fun. It's not like Bloodborne where it's just like one complete masterpiece. But Yeah, solid games. Solid games.
Someone
Right,
else's turn?
so while we've back to this, I've managed to
Oh, yeah.
find my stats on this. So I've been at Newcastle United for 2,931 days. I've been awarded 27 trophies. So games played 489. I've won 349. Drawn 95. I've lost 45. So I've got a win rate of 71%. Goals for 1,189. Goals conceded 408. Cups 26. League wins 6. And then for England, I've played 52 games. I've won 47, drawn 3, lost 2. And I won the World Cup in 2022. Which that's
You are
just
one
where it is now. I mean, you what?
You're one successful manager.
And for England, I'm 90% win rate.
Oh my life.
So
This is in stark contrast to the news today that Steve McLaren was sacked.
I tell you, it was the first time ever I've actually tweeted out last week about someone. You know, like as soon as Bournemouth scored, it was just like, I don't care what the final score is, he has to go.
This is a gaming podcast, nobody cares.
I care.
I care.
Shush.
That makes half the podcast.
Someone else's turn.
I think I've got nothing else. I've got nothing interesting to say about video games, so I'll pass it on. Who wants to go next?
I'm going to save mine.
Jordan,
Big
do you wanna
rant
quickly
lined
say?
up. Wait.
Alright, I mean, I've just been playing, as always, pretty much daily Rocket League.
Rocket League's great.
Yes, it
Rocket
is.
League's
It's one of my favorite games to come out last year, for sure. And playing a lot of Super Hot.
Ooh.
Just trying to finish that up when it's in between. Yeah. And then I think that's it. I've been trying to play. I get the Humble Monthly, so I've been trying to play through some of those, just so I get my money's worth out of it, I guess.
Nice.
But that's pretty much it. I mean, I mostly play Rocket League and then add some other stuff in there just to clear out my Steam library a little bit.
Yeah, looking through my Steam library, it's just the most.
Oh.
It's just like I just go look for it and I go, I haven't played that. I haven't played that.
Yeah.
I haven't played that. I haven't played that. I haven't played that. And most of them are like RPGs that will take like 100 hours to complete. So I'm not going to start them now.
Yeah.
It's just gonna
Steam's big picture mode now has a lot of like recommendations based on like, oh, you should play this. You haven't played this yet, and I'm like, yes, I know Steam. Just give me some time. I've got other things on my plate.
Like Rocket League.
Makes sense.
And I just recently got a Steam controller, and that has pretty much set my gaming skill level back to like 1. So readjusting to that.
Are they really difficult to take it and really hard to use?
Yes and no. I guess, I mean, because I play on the gamepad a lot for a lot of games that aren't, strategy games. It's very, very hard to, like, kind of get used to that because it's so close but so far.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi George, we're live.
We are live. We're doing the podcast right now.
I know you're doing the podcast right now. I just thought it was a really good idea to just break it up with me saying hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 5th member of our current party.
So am I like the token American in here now, or what is it?
You can put a token beard. We haven't got anyone who's got a good beard.
That works.
Jordan, where are you from?
West Coast, California.
No.
So,
California. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Now
That was
David's
nice.
singing.
That
This
was
is the
really
best
nice.
way to do a podcast, guys.
You've just barreled into this podcast, and we're just sort of pinballing between people now. We need to get back on track.
Well, that's how it works over here in America land.
America Land.
Land.
Yeah, America Land.
It works.
It does.
We still call it the colonies.
Well, there's actually more land to it now. I'm not sure. We actually expanded west. It's really crazy, this whole thing about dysentery and people actually died. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 13 colonies, good enough.
Yes,
That's all you need to know about America.
David, as the host, you need to get this podcast back on track.
I was thinking about some of the T-shirt designs we were doing, and they were quite racist American slogans, and it's like, nah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Anyway, so
Best segue right there. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on.
I've always wanted a Segway, but they're really expensive.
You know, I don't suggest getting one because I heard the creator of the Segway actually drove off a cliff with it and died. That's
true.
Really a good thing.
That's true.
Do you reckon we could salvage that Segway?
Maybe.
He's not going to use it anymore, is he?
You know, if anyone's like some kind of mechanic or something, maybe we could actually use it for this podcast.
Although
I would say the Segway would end up better off than what he would have. Because they are quite big and heavy things.
Sure. I don't like answer that.
Yeah, like...
Jordan, you were
Maybe
talking
the
about
Segway used him to land on.
I'm really liking this
Talking about
podcast.
Rocket
It's really
League.
good. It's really good.
I was talking about Rocket League at some point. I just got the Batman card, and that.
Oh my god, the Batman car's in Rocket League.
Yeah,
That makes me so happy.
In Rocket League, it is both amazing and terrible. It is very. It's a boat. It's very long. So it makes aerials very tricky. And general everything very tricky, very hard to kind of compensate for. But also, its turning radius is amazing. So.
I heard it's
It kinda
tricky to
makes up
rock
for it.
around.
Yes.
just kind of.
But, you know, I actually haven't played Rocket League recently, so I haven't seen any of this.
It's good,
Yeah.
which is an understatement. It's actually really fun and addictive.
Yes, very. And the new maps just, I mean, not as many people playing them anymore, but like the prototype maps were like a really cool idea.
Mm. So yeah, it's,
Oh yeah.
George, you've joined us now. What have you been playing?
Oh boy, what have I been playing? So, WWE 2K16 came out on PC. That's been fun. I had it on PS4, but I decided to also buy it on PC for some reason, like I did with 2K15. And I decided to create a different kind of character. Made him like super heavyweight, and I wanted to see how that played differently from like even just a heavyweight. And it does. And since I already knew how to play the game, it was actually much easier to go through the tutorial and do the first matches and whatnot. That's been fun. That includes all the DLC, which is a good price. I think it was 50 USD for that, which I paid more on PS4 because the game itself was 60, and then the DLC. I bought the season pass, but it was quite a bit of money. Let's see, what else did I play?
Oh my god.
What?
So how much? What you spent like probably like $150 on it?
Oh no, less than that. I don't think the season pass is that expensive.
How much is season passes these days? Aren't they like?
I'm actually a little afraid to know now.
Yes. $30.
$30? Oh, okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
I don't know what that is in English money, but you know.
But it's about 18 quid ish.
Cool. Trying to think what else. The Division is probably something I've been playing the most as of recent. Has anyone else been playing that?
No, where's that?
I played the beta, and I didn't particularly like it very much.
Oh, the Division.
Yeah, the Division.
What
Oh,
did you think he said?
I thought you said the Division. I was like, ooh, what is this?
Division.
Yeah.
It's a new
Must be
maths
my
game
ex-
that
accent.
Nintendo are making.
Yeah, but
It's a
the
sequel to
Division-
Brain Training.
For fuck's sake.
Now that's a game I'd get behind. But yeah, no, the Division is kind of like Ubisoft's version of Destiny, and I'd say that they kind of took a look at Destiny and improved what Destiny was. So, I mean, there's character creation and whatnot in that game, but it's so simple, it doesn't even really matter. They could have just thrown you just a random character and just be like, hey, play the game. It wouldn't really matter. But the loot system works pretty well. It's fun to go around and actually explore New York City. I'm actually somewhat familiar with New York City as I live close to it. And it's not 100% accurate, and it's not the whole area. So the thing is, you start in Brooklyn, and then that's just basically the tutorial. And what happens is you go on to Manhattan, and it's not even the whole island of Manhattan. I heard it's actually broken off with DLC that's coming out soon, which sucks. But you know, you go around Manhattan and you're getting the base of operations and you're getting all these upgrades. And there's a dark zone, and that's where the PvP starts. So this game is online always, and anytime you can actually join somebody and play with them, or you can invite somebody in. And the thing is, you don't see people walking around the world. When you get to safe houses and areas like that, you'll see other people, and you'll be able to actually interact with them, like walk up to them and see their profile and whatnot, and invite them to a game. And there's also a computer you can actually do matchmaking with and look for people that way, so it's like a looking for group kind of like thing. Now when you get into these PvP zones, what's up?
Which is what created the problem on the release day, when there was people lining up in the building to access the laptop because the players can't pass through each other.
Oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. As a British person, that makes me so happy.
It's brilliant.
Seeing people queue in a video game is great.
I know, it's glorious, because these like 50 odd people organise themselves in the most fashionable way I've ever seen. Like
I'm just surprised, like it isn't like just a massive mess of people trying to like.
It was literally, it was a queue, and everyone was just going, right, I'm waiting.
Everyone's just standing there, really nice. Yeah, it was quite satisfying to see. So actually,
the problem with that is actually when I first got into the game, they have you go to the safe house and open the door, and that's when everyone just pops into existence inside that one room. There's a guy standing in front of the door, and I'm looking at this guy. You can't walk through them. You're right. And so I just can't enter the safe house, and you have to enter the safe house for this mission. I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, buddy, really?
Because I was thinking like you could easily just like, what if you sitting at the front of the queue, but you decided like, I'm not gonna move.
Like, he's that same person on Dark Souls. He's like that one phantom that stands in the doorway with a shield up, just going...
just sitting there, just like...
That's the same guy.
Right now.
So the thing is, I was actually able to get around him. I don't know how. I don't know if the game said, whatever, man, just phase through him or what. So I somehow got in between him and the doorway, and I just ran through that space, and I was just like, okay, let's keep playing this game. I'm not going into any more safe houses right now. I'm afraid of getting stuck and wasting time. So there's the PvP zone, which I actually didn't go into on the full version of the game. I went into the beta version, and that's just a mess. At least in the beta version, where it's all like that whole dark zone is just PvP. So anyone can kill you, but also the thing is there's also enemies, just AI roaming about that you can go and kill, and they drop loot. You could just team up with people and fight them as well. But if you shoot somebody, you're marked as a traitor, and I believe it shows where you are. So in the beta, I've seen I think it was like 5 people in a group, and they were just all marked as traitors, and I was staying away from those guys because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that seems like a really inaccurate way of trying to kill people. It's like, mark them, but then let them group together and become organized.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, if this happened in real New York City, that stuff would happen. Well, obviously not the marking, but what would happen is people would just start killing each other, then they'd form these groups where it would just be some kind of fragile alliance. It'd be like, all right, well, let's just kill anybody that passes by and just steal their stuff, So
we're too polite for that.
Americans.
We'd be too awkward about it.
I can imagine.
Right.
There's a guy over there. Ah, don't bother him. Don't bother him. It's all
Yeah,
right.
but-
It's all right. You all right, mate? You all right, mate?
He's pointing his gun at me. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Dives out of the way. No.
But yeah, I was having fun with the Division. I've been playing a lot of that since it was released. But let's see, what else have I been playing? I don't remember because I have so much.
So,
on
would
my
you
brain right
recommend The Division?
Yeah, so the thing is, I'm actually working on writing a review for it, and right now, from what I see, like, there's not too many major issues with the game. I would definitely recommend it, because if somebody wanted to play Destiny, I would definitely divert them over to The Division, because it does what Destiny does, but much better.
But Destiny costs more money.
You mean The Division costs more money?
No.
Does Destiny cost more money?
I mean, Destiny, you can pick up the game and all the DLC for like 30 quid now.
No, you can't. That
30,
is a
40
lot.
quid. You can get the Legendary Edition, yeah.
Send me the link of where this pricing exists. I will believe you.
Fucking hell,
Over
mate.
here, you can pay $60 for the Taken King, and that comes with the base game. So, I'd say if anything, I think they're on even ends. But let's say they're both $30 US. Okay, The Division is a better Destiny, and
Than
it also
Destiny?
has that. Yeah, it's a better Destiny than Destiny is. But,
Nice.
yeah. The only thing is you don't have space and you don't have a ship. You're just roaming around
So-
crazy New York City.
Another thing to think about, I don't like people, so I wouldn't want to talk to anyone.
I can tell you don't like people. You're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me.
So the thing is, I've actually been playing this mostly by myself. I played with somebody for an hour or two maybe, and that was fun. And we ended up accidentally killing dogs. But it was an accident the first time. But the thing is, just it's good to play with multiple people. The problem is I don't really have people to play with, so I play by myself, and I still find it to be fun. And you know, a lot of people say that you should be playing with other people, and that's probably for the best. But if you want to try to get a single player experience out of this, you can.
I prefer to play by myself.
Do the enemies and stuff, do they scale with if you have multiple people or not?
Do they scale? That's a good question. No, they don't really, from what I've seen. What they do is when you go into a major mission, there's a difficulty setting, and when you set it to hard, it will scale the enemy's level to, I believe, like the maximum level of the area. So each area has a different thing of levels. So like you can enter an area called Chelsea, and that will be like maybe like levels 3 to 5 or something like that. And it it scales with the further you get in the game.
So they're almost like quest level ranges.
Yeah. So you can adjust the difficulty, and when you put it on harder levels, they also do things like they add armor to enemies. So if you're playing normal, the enemies don't have any armor really, except for like special enemies. And then when you put it on a harder difficulty, all enemies have armor and they have better weapons and whatnot. So it is more of a challenge, and actually, it's a good idea to actually go back and play the missions on harder levels so you can get better loot, better resources, and just have a more of a challenge in the game.
It's good to have a good gameplay loop for a loot-driven game.
Right. So the thing is, I think Ubisoft kind of learned from their past mistakes with the Far Cry games, where Far Cry 3 wasn't really enough to do outside of missions, and then Far Cry 4 had too much to do outside of missions. This one has side missions that you can do that you just walk into the area and they just activate, and then there are different, I forget what they're called, but there's like smaller kinds of side missions where you just walk into the area, and once you complete the objective, you gain resources for a certain wing of your base of operations. And with there's three wings, and there's a medical wing, there's a security wing, and then there's like a tech wing. And there's missions that are segmented for these kinds of wings. And the first mission for each wing is just get like the supervisor or the leader of the wing, and then with that you go on to do different things like take out like the leader of one of the rioter groups or something like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, there's a good amount to this game without actually being overbearing. Like, I really feel like they learned from their Far Cry 4 mistake. So there's not too much, there's not too little.
I will admit, when you were talking about wings, all I could think of is some like buffalo wings.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, I'm American, obviously. I'm always talking about food, right?
Ignore David.
Oh, my life.
Anyway, my turn.
Buffaloes don't have wings, though.
Oh, by the
Come
way,
on.
Matt, before you start, on game, you can buy Destiny the Taken King edition, which includes all the DLC for £34.
Excuse
Guy's
me, ladies
doing
and
his
gentlemen.
homework.
I just,
On.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
actually really tempted by that. I might buy it.
Yeah, 35 quid for all that does sound quite nice compared to the original price, which was 80 fecking quid,
Yeah.
which is close to $120.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I'd suggest that, but then again, I bought Destiny when it came out.
Hmm.
And then I bought the first DLC, and then I bought all the other DLC, so...
I didn't buy
That was a mistake,
any
kind of.
DLCs because I wasn't prepared to pay that much for so little. But that's a different topic for a different podcast. I have been playing.
Should I go first and maybe you could have a rant?
I was going to say, we're not doing that again. We've already covered Destiny in a rant. I've been playing Moon Hunters and Space Overlords, one of which is a 5-star game, the other one is a 1.
Do you
Moon
actually
Hunters-
capture the moon at the end of the game?
No, Moon Hunters is a procedurally generated...
Why is it 5? Why is it 5 stars then if you can't capture the moon? And you're a moon hunter. Come on.
To be fair, that's why it's the end of the game, because you try to catch it and it just splats you. And you got to restart with a new
Can I
character.
continue? David.
Go on then.
Okay, thank you.
I'll sit back.
It's a procedurally generated RPG pixelated game where you have 4 days to basically not get murdered. And with every single playthrough, you unlock more and more constellations and get more and more features for your next playthrough, and it all builds up towards, where you start uncovering all the lore and all the story, because it's given to you in very, very small, like little bits. It's not shown in one neat package, and the reason I love it to pieces so much is because the storytelling isn't overbearing, but it's definitely driven in the same way that something like The Last of Us is, because it's there and you want to find out what's going on, but it's not in your face. And it's lovely. And the soundtrack is a thing of beauty, and even Dave can back me up on this. Totally grinning.
So when you said constellations, it kind of made me, I don't know why, it kind of made me think of Skyrim with the whole stupid constellation thing that they had.
It's not like a level up thing, it's kind of like an unlock system.
Okay.
So with every single playthrough, you make choices as a character that affect the ending you receive. So basically, if you're a dick to animals in that playthrough, and then you finish the game, you'll get given like a certain title called, like, I don't know, like the snake or something, and that will unlock something in the night sky that's similar to a snake constellation, and that'll give you something for the next playthrough that'll like contribute to that stat or that thing. And it's actually a really interesting way of keeping replayability.
But you don't capture the moon.
No, you don't.
I'm on the fence of playing this game now.
So let me get this straight, Matt. You don't capture the moon.
No.
Damn it.
It's called Moon Hunters, though.
DLC.
It's
They
called
should just do what they did in Infinite Undiscovery and throw chains, for the moon and try to pull the moon little by little with these chains.
It's not a Majora's Mask style.
I would hope not. That moon's scary with that face.
Oh, yeah, it's
The It says it's a 1 to 4 player cooperative. Have you played it?
No, I haven't. I haven't got enough friends for that.
Do you want to be friends?
But yeah, it's procedure generated and it's fantastic because everything just clicks really nicely. And the reason it's called Moon Hunters, for people who are wondering why you don't hunt the moon, is because there are 4 goddesses in this universe.
Are you one of them?
Who have basically disappeared, and your job is to... I'm ignoring that. Your job is to basically find them and find out what's happened to these 4 goddesses that kind of govern how your world functions, because they're buggered off. So that's why it's called Moon Hunters, not because you hunt the moon.
I like my story better.
Admittedly, that would be an epic finale.
That would be. You know, you just throw a chain around the moon and you just pull it in.
Yep. The other game I played was Space Overlords, and oh my god, it is one of the worst things I've ever played. Hands down, it is one of the worst things I've ever played, and I'm not even...
Oh, come on.
There's
other games.
I can't defend it, because it's dull, it's uninspiring, and it takes all the fun out of being a giant fecking robot. One of the best things in the universe. It's like... They took the idea of giant robots punching cities into dust and made it dull.
Okay,
How?
I trust you on this decision.
Yeah. Like they took the idea of being an omnipotent overlord of space, time, and reality and made it a boring beat 'em up.
Well, also, I think one of the mistakes is making it a beat 'em up as well.
Yeah, it was bad. I loaded it up and went, I have faith in this. Got 5 minutes in and went, crap. It was like, it broke me after about half an hour. It was terrible because it kind of fell down to this. It was so hideously repetitive that there was no fun in it whatsoever. None of the combos were satisfying to pull off. There wasn't any combo list in the first place. All the planets were the same. The objective was the same. There was no difficulty. There was no inspiration. The graphics were shit. The music shit. The sound bites are shit. And it's just right. And the main characters' names are... one minute. I have this written down because I had to remember this. The main characters' names, and I'm not making this up, are Turbang, Femus, Beruk Jahat, and Kiran Akan.
What?
Why?
Sounds like Zelda.
I think using like Billy, Bob, Jim.
Yeah.
I think that would work better.
I appreciate that they're galactic overlords, but for God's sake, it sounds like I'm ordering a decent curry. Like, I don't need this. In the opening cutscene, it introduces like all their names, and you sat there just trying to pronounce them, going, "What?"
I hope I don't make that face.
It's horrible. Oh yeah, and your arch nemesis is called Kihisidan.
Well, that's the best name ever, obviously.
We should make your review just a series of screenshots based on the face you pull. So like 1 minute in, you're like, am I really playing this? Then after 10 minutes, and it basically goes up to about half an hour, which is where you break, and you pull that face that you just pulled.
Yeah,
it should actually just be like a YouTube video. It should be a YouTube video. Kind of like a 2 girls 1 cup reaction video.
It was just...
game.
I've been sent only a few, thankfully, like really crap games, and that is worse than Decay.
Is that
that was the horror game.
Oh yeah.
I got sent that last year, and that.
To be fair, I didn't send it. I put out an email and you requested it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's your own fault.
I foolishly asked for it. But oh my god, it was bad.
I don't think it's the worst game ever, but it does sound like a really bad game.
It's definitely on my list for worst games of 2016 at the very least.
Okay, for 2016, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the very least, it's definitely up there.
Only a few months in, so. Let's
Yeah.
hope for
Zack.
worse games because I want to see what
Yep.
else is on your list.
I've emailed you.
I know. I'm doing it now.
Ah, good. Sorry,
Yeah.
carry on.
No, my
Good for
ranting's
podcast.
over. I'm
Good
done
for
for the
podcast.
evening.
Is it better or worse than Godzilla?
Worse.
Hey, I like
Because have you played
Godzilla. I like
Because
Godzilla.
It's worse than anything.
Is it worse than Assassin's Creed 3?
Yes.
Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Honestly, I dare you to go and buy it yourself with your own money.
How
I don't
much
want
is it?
to. I don't want to buy a bad game with my money. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what?
Actually,
No,
yeah.
never mind. I've actually done that on purpose. Never mind. I've actually bought a few bad games on purpose.
I'm looking at how much this is, actually. I'm looking at how much it is.
I
11
can't
quid.
wait to find out.
11 quid.
£11? Oh, a bit steep for me.
Yeah, I know.
For a bad game?
I would, which is really weird, because on the Steam site, it's got 6 out of 10.
Nah.
I'm giving it a 1 out of 5.
Was that like 6 out of 10 middle fingers, or?
I don't know. It's only got 3 reviews though, and the people have just been kind of like, it's really meh, and I'm just sat in the corner shouting,
It's
no.
Wait, you're actually, on your off days, you just shout no at the reviews. You're like, no, you're wrong.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm sure they'd eventually hear with that echoey room that you're in.
That'd be glorious. The reverb would kill them.
Isn't that a baddie in Mass Effect?
Reverb?
The reverbers or something.
Reapers.
Reapers.
Not
That
reverb.
was close.
No, you weren't. Not even slightly.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Shepard is doing a podcast. His greatest enemy, Reverb.
Reverb! He travels across the galaxy to get as many different people to join his podcast and minimize the reverb.
Fill the room. It's Shepard's push to fill the room.
I would listen to that shit.
How many Krogan can he fit? 2017.
This is definitely a game we need to make. That would be amazing. Game Jam.
Dear BioWare, have you considered reverb rather than Reapers?
And Shepard's actually doing a podcast. The story of Mass Effects 1 through 3 were actually just a story that he put on his podcast.
Oh my god.
He's actually just an internet nerd.
He's now become nothing more than a creamy meme.
That's why he has romance with all the other women on his ship. Just because it's fan fiction between him and the women.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it works. It's legit. It checks out.
I'm sure that's what BioWare really wanted.
I'm sure BioWare want a lot of things.
Any update, Zack?
There's no one on the Twitch chat, so... There's no one on the Twitch chat.
There's no
That's a
one
really
there.
good
I'd
update.
thought,
You're good at your
I
job.
thought there would have been. Oh, you've actually emailed me. Alright. then.
I emailed you because I was trying to be like really sly about it and like let the podcast just continue.
It's
But
just,
that didn't work, obviously.
I just have to ask, how much podcasting experience do you have?
Which one?
Anyone?
Anyone?
Sure.
I could say over 3 years, but it's not really experience. It's just pissing about.
I don't think that plays well in a podcast. Unless it's like a
Nah.
video podcast. I don't think anyone would really want to watch that, though.
I mean, yeah, who would want to look at us?
I'm looking at you right now.
Matt?
I don't know. I mean, eventually you're just going to get more viewers knowing that I'm here now.
In fairness, that's pretty accurate.
Were you?
Completely agree.
Did you ever do American football?
No.
Because I see you've got the iron gym thing behind you that you do pull-ups behind doors.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised it's the first thing you noticed. Not
That's
the
what
Gears
Gears
of
of
War
War,
3
yeah.
Lancer.
Yeah, I saw the Lancer and just went, yay.
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff in this room.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
Well, I didn't say they were for sexual things.
Don't make someone this.
I mean, I could just randomly start pulling stuff out if you want.
Someone comes like
That
Saints Row.
sounds bad as well.
That does sound bad. You're right.
So whereabouts are you pulling these things out from?
David, the next section.
Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
I said it'd be a very expensive trip.
That's worth it.
Anyway, the games I've played this week. I've had a quick go at Forced Showdown.
But David, we've agreed we can't speak about it.
It's alright.
Changing the rules on the fly.
We're embargoed. What if we
I
don't?
mean, I interviewed the developer, and I told him some of the problems I was having with him, and he was like, "Oh, interesting," and that's the actual interview that'll be going up.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, quickly then, what did you like it?
I liked it. I mean, I never got into all the card stuff and that. I just turned it on and ran around and tried to hit things and shoot things.
Has anyone else played Hearthstone?
I have.
Yeah.
This Forced Showdown game kind of shares similar mechanics to Hearthstone, but instead of being a card game, it's basically like a World of Warcraft top-down RPG style thing.
Okay.
And it's
basically like a twin-stick shooter.
It's kind of like kind of like a twin-stick shooter, but and then you have like all your special abilities and stuff on the shortcut to all the keys and stuff. And I actually quite enjoyed it for what it was. There isn't much to it.
Oh, it was hard.
Once you played it for about an hour,
Very
you kind of
hard.
get it, and that's. But basically, you have 10 rounds to complete, where you're basically just killing as many enemies as possible. Each round, you gain 1 mana, and then you gain a new card, which gives you like a special ability, or gives you like a damage boost, or gives you a shield, or something like that. And then that costs a certain amount of mana. And then it's like the whole risk versus reward thing. Do you wait until the end and hopefully you get a really powerful card, or do you use all your smaller ones? So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm gonna write words on it hopefully, so you can look forward to that.
I like words. They're very nice.
Yay, language.
My words are the best.
Yay, language.
Yay. Or if you're a bard in D&D, yay, attacks.
Yep.
For anyone that does or doesn't play D&D watching this or in this chat.
Yeah, I didn't get that, so.
God damn it, man.
I was waiting for someone else to laugh.
It's one of the few things, like, since coming to uni that I've really got into is D&D.
I tried to laugh, but I might have just come out as robot static.
Hey, robot laughs are pretty good too, man.
Yeah.
Not as effective, apparently.
As long as it's not a beat 'em up, your laughs are probably pretty good.
Darth Vader having a coughing fit.
Anyway, I also
These
had a
are
quick
so
go at
good.
the Hitman beta,
Yep, good, bad.
and we've already talked about that about an hour ago. It's okay. I don't know what the reviews have been giving it, but to me it seems not as filled as it was on the PS3 and Xbox 360, like the
Well,
Hitman
isn't this-
Absolution.
Isn't this episodic or something like that now?
Technically, yes, but you can also buy it as like $60 and you'll get it all in when they release it, all sort of thing.
I'll argue
Or
that
you
the
can
last.
buy packs.
I'll argue
It's
that
just
the last good one was Blood Money, and that's it.
I really enjoyed Absolution. I thought it was really good. Looked amazing. Actually, I'd
it's
say it looks
definitely
better than what this
playable.
one does.
It's definitely playable, I have to say. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just changed what Hitman was, and I didn't really like that. So, I didn't finish it, so.
I mean, I think the best Hitman game I've ever played is probably the Hitman 2. I really enjoyed that I think that was on the original Xbox. Might have been.
I don't know, I'm more
That's
aware
going
of the
back.
PlayStation 2 version. So, I have a copy of that somewhere. Off camera, you
I
can't see it,
had
but I
it.
have a bunch of PS2 games laying around, so.
I've got some just below the TV, which you can't see, but below that TV, which is an old TV, I've got a 360 and some original Xbox games and some PS2 games and stuff. Just some random crap lying around.
Wouldn't that get sticky?
So no, I just roll around in it. It's good.
Yeah, but you said there's crap in there. I would think crap is kind of
Yeah, you
sticky.
just roll around in it. It's really good. Bit of sawdust sound.
Northerners.
Not wrong with softness.
What are you saying, Zach?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I'm just. I mean, just look at David. He's rolling around in crap.
What was that, you southern dandy?
He says he wished he was
And
like
what?
you guys.
And what? Bring it.
So I've also played Flame Over, but I've played that before. I've talked about it ages ago. Dead Effect 2, which is newly on Steam, which I think it was originally like a Android,
mobile game?
iOS first-person shooter game.
I have that game, yeah.
I reviewed that. One of
And
the
it's-
first games I reviewed for One Up Gaming, I think.
What's the
Isn't that
original one?
Yeah. Oh.
And it's okay, nothing special, but I think it's quite cheap, so I think for the price it's actually not bad.
Isn't it multiplayer as well?
I don't play with people.
Yes. My question was, is it multiplayer? I didn't ask, did you play it multiplayer?
I don't actually look at anything to do with multiplayer, so I just go straight to single player or mission mode or whatever the hell. I don't even know what it says on the menu screen. It might be. A lot of first-person shooters are multiplayer. Anyway, Moon Hunters, I played that. Not my sort of game,
Do you catch the moon?
but the music is good. Yeah, I thought it in one go. And
T-shirt design.
The last two games I played were PS4 games. One's called MOP, Operation Cleanup.
Do you play as a mob?
You play as a robot tasked to clean up the earth.
Is his name Mop?
Is his name Wally?
To be honest, it was not the best game.
You tell me a game about cleaning things up isn't the best.
Well, there's stuff on the old Sega Saturn where you clean stuff up, which was absolutely amazing.
The Sega
But
Saturn. Sega Saturn. How many
it was
years?
probably out on the PlayStation as well.
How many years?
Well, it came out in '95.
I was
Again, I'm
born in
talking about-
'95.
I think it was called Trash It. Zack, Google Trash It. Sega Saturn.
It'd just be a video of somebody throwing a Sega Saturn into the garbage.
And
Threw it to the ground.
the last game was Miko Mall. Yeah, I guess it's either Miko or Miko Mall, one of the two.
There's a massive difference there. Because,
The
work.
game was one of the worst games I've ever played. I don't want to give it any publicity whatsoever.
That's twice I've heard this in this podcast.
Okay, I'm now looking this up.
They're both done by the same publisher, MOP Operation Cleanup and Miko Mall.
Do you play as a mop in this
MIKO
game?
Mall. No, in that one you do actually play as a mall.
Wait, you do?
In
Oh, I'm looking at
Miko
the
Mall you do.
screenshots.
It's hideous, absolutely
Yeah.
hideous.
It does look quite, yes, it does look like a thing.
Yeah, things look. I mean,
I'd rather stab myself in the eyes than play this game.
all right, Oedipus.
I mean, the MOP Operation Cleanup is a bad game, but it's better than the Miko Mall. And MOP Operation Cleanup is basically a side-on 2D endless runner, but you just have to try and jump over things and hit the garbage to clean it up and jump over obstacles.
That sounds
and
worse
that's
than
on
I
the
actually
PlayStation
thought
4.
it was.
Mm.
That is on the PlayStation 4. What the hell?
This is PS4!
I mean, that's like a PSN game, right?
It's still, I don't give a crap. Well, it should not be on the PlayStation 4.
Why not? It's it's obviously a graphical powerhouse. It's the rendering power of the PS4. To play as a robot that cleans up garbage in a side-scrolling 2D platformer.
Do they have DLC where you clean up the moon?
Is there DLC
I'm going to take my
where you can
microphone
play as
and
a
go home.
mob?
This is gonna be a thing now. I'm gonna say it every single week. Ask something about the moon. Everything's gonna be related to the moon now. You're gonna hate me.
Do you
Should we
get to
do a
play
t-shirt
as the
design with
moon?
a picture of the moon on?
Yeah.
I will appear every single week, say nothing, and just sit here with silent descent doing this.
It's alright. It's an audio podcast.
Exactly. It's like they have no
Apart from-
frame of reference what I'm doing right now.
Hey, get your fingers out of your mouth. Oh, ugh. What are you doing? Ugh. That's disgusting. Oh, now he's... Oh, why are you pulling down your pants? Oh.
I forgot those.
I'll tell you what, Matt, it's a good job your webcam's got a light on it. We can see it right up there.
Just to clarify, ladies and
That
gentlemen,
was
nothing is
so
actually.
delayed.
That's an interesting thought that you were thinking. I was just thinking he was going to moon us, but, you know, you took it to the extreme.
David
It was
doesn't.
just the fact
He's
that
gonna
you
moon
down
us!
it so slow on it.
I didn't even realize I was doing that.
So, we are going to have a quick break, and we'll be back with the interview we did with... I'm going to murder the name, so I am very sorry. But the lead artist on Moon Hunters,
Xin Liu.
Xin Ran Liu.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yes. So we'll have a quick chat with him, and we'll be back in about half an hour or so.
Do you have trouble sleeping? Tossing and turning all night. Nothing you do seems to help. You're not getting your recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Well, now there's a solution. Now there's Fat Cat Fly. With Fat Cat Fly, you'll easily get the sleep that you deserve. Download for free on the iOS App Store, and you're guaranteed to get a good night's sleep with very few side effects, as you help a fluffy kitty eat all the junk food that he wants. Side effects may include sleeplessness and desire for cheeseburgers if erection lasts more than 5 hours. See a physician. Try Fat Cat Fly today. Visit facebook.com/fatcatfly because you deserve a better life.
Up next on the show, we got a treat for you. Here is this week's interview.
And we're back with the One Up Gaming Podcast. It's me, David, and we've got Matt, and we've got a special guest. And as always, I will just say, please introduce yourself and just say what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Sin. I'm the art director at Kitfox Games. We just released Moon Hunters. It's a 1 to 4 player personality test action RPG.
And I'll say, Matt, take it away.
Moon Hunters is something. It's more like it's a blend between an RPG and something like Risk of Rain because it offers something new every single time. Simply because the story builds on itself every single time, and that's why I absolutely adored it. Because it wasn't quite the same, and it kept bringing in new elements that kept bringing you back as a player. I must say, the art style and the art itself is something that really caught my eye because it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, right, thank you.
Honestly, it really is. It's one of those things where I have a thing for pixel art, and I have a thing for games that have a focus on a particular art style. And Moon Hunters really does kind of bring that into focus because even as you boot up the game, the first thing you're greeted with is this gorgeous kind of, it looks like concept art of every single main character, and it's phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we tried to have this kind of interesting blend of this watercolory, the traditional looking art with the pixel art.
No, it's a really good blend. I've got to ask though, did you actively choose to go for pixel art or a 2D style rather than 3D polygonal?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I'm not really a 3D artist. I never really made a 3D game, so definitely my expertise is in the 2D art. And knowing that we're going to be creating this kind of a procedural, vast world, it just made sense to make it in pixel art too.
All right. Okay. What program did you use to create the sprites and the world?
Yeah. So I do most of my, I guess, concepting and assets creation in Photoshop. So, yeah, Photoshop for most of the environment, the landscape, the backgrounds. And we have also Mike, an animator who's working with us, and he works in pixel edit mostly for the animating, because that's really great for sprite sheets.
No, it's really something unique, because even though it's pixel art, it's really smooth animation. And that surprised me, because sometimes pixel art's got the added disadvantage of being a bit blocky because it is pixels.
Right. Yeah, I think Mike did a really good job with a lot of the animations, and I don't know if you tried like dancing with your character on the D-pad, and those are just really, really fun stuff. Yeah, I think he talks a lot about streaming pixels, right? To make it smooth, you have to basically move a lot of pixels around the motion of the character, and not just, move just the arm, for example. You gotta move the whole chest when a character does a motion like that.
Yeah, accidentally pressing on the D-pad does make a character dance. I was surprised at this. It confused me initially. It was ridiculous. Just walking through, killing enemies, and suddenly I'm just throwing my staff in the air.
Yeah, is that a special secret skill?
Yeah, I was confused, to say the least. I have to ask though, the land of Isaria, how did you go about making that unique? Because obviously you're the art director, so you get to call on the styles and stuff. Right. How did you make that sort of your own thing?
Yeah, so our inspiration for the time period is ancient Mesopotamia, right? And that's something we don't see a lot in games. And I felt that would be a good fit for something that's a bit different and unique. And it's every single fantasy game. It's probably in setting European medieval times, or some kind of dark gothic like Bloodborne type of settings. Yeah, but yeah, something like ancient Mesopotamia, like Assyrian, Sumerian myths, hasn't really been explored yet. So I went and looked up ancient ruins and the carvings and costume designs from that period, and it's all very different and interesting stuff. So a lot of that was some of my inspiration for the visual language of the world.
Yeah, you can really feel it as you go through the game on different playthroughs. You can really see that was a focus for the different tribes that you've got to start out as.
Yeah, and every tribe and area has its own kind of color theme, right? So hopefully every time you go to somewhere different, the atmosphere changes, and that with Ryan, our composer, and Helena, who did a great job on the sound and the soundtrack and the music. Hopefully that gives it this really nice atmosphere to the game.
Well, the soundtrack for Moon Hunters is one of the best things I've heard in a while. It really is, and it was something that really surprised me, because indie games have a tendency to be, they can be absolute masterpieces, but they can lack a real sense of their own kind of musical style. But Moon Hunters really moved with the art style, and it was staggering, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm super happy about the way the music turned out. Like, we only truly integrated the music later on in the project, and suddenly it just added so much to the game. It's great. Actually, Ryan also worked recently on the beginner's guide, right, doing some of the more instrumental kind of music there. So it was good. It's good to have.
The beginner's guide is absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah.
No, the music and the art especially, even though there is combat heavy portions of the game, I do feel that it's more story driven, and that really helps the overall kind of, feel, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting that for a moment you can be in this kind of chaotic, especially if playing multiplayer, right? There's a bunch of skilled effects and monsters on the screen, and then the moment after, everybody's talking to NPC and reading dialogues. There's like a surprising amount of story and dialogue in a game like this, and I find that's a good, interesting mix. That's a bit different.
It's definitely something for replayability, simply because when you go back to various levels that you think you've been to before, there's new events, new enemies, or the actual area has changed.
The maps are procedurally generated, so hopefully players will get a different experience every time they play.
And the thing that really impressed me as well was the fact that even though they are procedurally generated, they still manage to have a sense of purpose, because sometimes when things are procedurally generated, they feel a little bit too random, like there's no effort put in.
Yeah.
But the parameters here that were clearly, programmed in were really impressive, to say the least.
Yeah, like one of our programmers, John Wu, what he said at some point was, a place only has meaning if people assign a meaning to the space, right? So just because a game is infinite doesn't actually mean that it's meaningful. So what we try to do this time around is we try to pre-build nodes, so chunks of interesting areas, events, architecture, or an NPC, some kind of those story bits, and then we'll link them together and create a map using a path, of these nodes, and then create the blocking elements, the walls around it.
Yeah. I was going to say, for my penultimate question, I have to ask, obviously you've got concept art and stuff, because, it builds up and things change over time, but looking back at your own concept art for Moon Hunters, is it drastically different to the final product, or is it pretty similar?
A lot of the changes came early on, because even before we went to Kickstarter, even before the game went into a proper production development, we put up a pitch on the Square Enix Collective, and that was in March 2014, like 2 years ago. And the art style, if you look up our pitch page on the Square Enix Collective page, it's very, very different from what we have now. So actually having that 5 months of just me and with GP, one of our earlier artists, just having that time to incubate and really think about the art style and evolve it was actually really helpful when we went on Kickstarter in August, I think. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic to hear. My last question, though, has to be about the future of the game itself, because obviously the feedback from the community has been really strong from everything that I've seen on the internet. It seems to have been, pretty well received, and people really like, everything you produced. So I have to ask, in the studio, is there any talk of this becoming a franchise, or?
Franchise, I'm not sure about that, but we're definitely gonna be working on a content update, right? And right now we are working hard on making the online multiplayer experience seamless. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing we're working on is the PS4 version right now. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And if everything works out in like 6 months from now, maybe we'll think about not exactly a sequel, but something maybe in the same universe that might be interesting. But
I'd like to see more, definitely.
Yeah. There's so much art I already made for it. It maybe like, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, like a card game or even like a board game, because we do have this kind of atmospheric setting and world that we created, and it will be really interesting for us to keep exploring that mythology.
Absolutely. I'd love to see more of it. But yeah, thank you very much for coming to talk to us. I'm all out of my questions, so David?
Yeah, I just wanted to basically say, again, now I'm not a pixel art person, so I'm probably speaking to the wrong person.
Nope.
But I will say, when the game did load up, the actual... the hand-drawn sort of art for the back, for the actual characters and everything that was on there, they were truly stunning pieces of work.
Thank you.
And again, I just want to say, for me, the best thing about the game, I think, was the music and the soundtrack of the game. I think that just, I don't know, it was just absolutely amazing. And so the people who did the music, are they working on anything, or is it like they're all within like the one company that does everything together?
No, they're independent. So we're working with Ryan Roth and Helena Heron, and Ryan worked with us on Shattered Planet, our previous game, and he's worked on the Yogg, which is kind of similar to Moonhunters in a sense, with the story part at least. Yeah, if you remember. And also Electric Superjoy, which was like Ryan has very versatile. Big brain stuff.
You keep saying games that I'm quite familiar with. I like.
Yeah, and of course, lastly, lately he worked on. He did all the soundtrack for the Beginner's Guide.
Oh, okay.
They're based in Toronto, but they come to Montreal, where we are, from time to time, to hang out and have better communication, I guess, to fix things in the game. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I just wanted to sort of say, I can see on the Steam page that you've had over like 50 positive like reviews on there. How does it make you feel when people take the actual time to write a positive statement about the game?
Oh, well, it feels great that people, some people really enjoy it. That's basically what we hope people would feel. And of course, there's also the, to be I guess, the devil's advocate, there's also the negative reviews. And those, kind of motivate us to make the game better. And we are always listening to our community and the feedback they have, whether it's positive or negative. But, it's for sure encouraging to see the thumbs up, on the same page.
Absolutely.
And I just wondered, how long was the development for the game?
A year and a half of development. I've been working on it a little bit earlier, maybe like 1 day per week, for 2 years, I guess. So basically, the first, if before we went into production, I worked on the art style at a part-time basis for about 5 months.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, you sound quite young. How old are you?
I'm 23.
That is quite young.
Yeah. I'm the youngest one here.
He's old.
I'm not that old.
Well, there are a lot of, younger developers these days, and it's easier and easier to get into game development, right? People just watch some YouTube videos and they download Unity and they become kind of these amazing genius who can do everything, and that's just kind of crazy to see. Looking forward to, more and more games, basically. More and more people making games.
I mean, it is quite amazing, as you say, with some of the engines that are about. Because I chatted with someone last week. He's creating a game called Stellar Tactics, which is like an open world space sort of game. It looks like Homeworld with the space combat. You can also land on planets which are randomly generated, and it goes to like a Diablo sort of style graphics. And he's making that. He's been doing it for 2 years, and it's still going to be another 6 months or so. And he's the only person making that one game.
Yeah.
And it's just mind-boggling when something like Assassin's Creed takes like over 1,000 people.
Yeah, I guess it's different kinds of games, right? Like the scope of Assassin's Creed is just massive, and
it's also more broken.
Yeah, and I guess when there's more and more people, it becomes this kind of like impossible puzzle of miscommunication, I guess. That's why at Kid Fox, I think we don't really want to grow into, more than, 10 people, because at that point, you just lose the whole collaborative atmosphere of a small team. Right now we're 6 people, and I think it's a good size, to be working together. It's really, really fun to just throw ideas at each other. So the designer could have an idea, and then me, the artist, I could just doodle something real quick, and then spin my chair around, and just throw those assets to the programmers, and he'll implement it. And within 1 hour, we can see like something happening in game, and that's just a great feeling.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant that you've brought this game into the world personally, because it's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'm just wondering, because you are quite young, what sort of gaming influences would you say go into this game that you've taken from other games that you've played?
The art style, definitely, I think there's quite a bit of Yoshitaka Amano in there. So he did a lot of the illustrations and concept art for the earlier Final Fantasies.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so the watercolor stuff and super fluid stuff, and that was super inspiring. Otherwise, like Zelda, there's definitely a bit of that. Recently, I've been playing, I think probably like 2 years ago now, Link Between Worlds. It was like super great. I play a lot of local co-op games, so I played like Gauntlet, the re-released, I guess, the 3D version of it was super fun. Magica was super fun too. Yeah, and I think maybe as an artist, for me, one of the greatest inspirations I had was playing Guild Wars. The first Guild Wars, and I remember the loading screens were just beautiful concept art. And I think that's when I kind of realized, like, wait a minute, people are making these things, and people can have a career making art for video games. This super fun entertainment product that I consume, that could become, my living. And I think that inspired me to start studying art, like really seriously, and maybe contributed to where I am today.
And then there's people like us who have to interview people.
Badly at that.
Hey, we did it very well.
Yeah, it's been really smooth. It's great.
Thank you.
So, I will say thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Likewise.
And the game itself, I believe it came out, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
That's right. We had the launch yesterday.
And are the early signs that it's doing better than you expected, or...?
It's doing about what we expected. Yeah, it's definitely better than the last game. And we're looking forward to what the rest of the week brings, right?
That's not So, with that, I think we will end that there. So, thank you, Xin, for coming on.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
If you want to just give out, like, your Twitters and emails, things like that, so people can contact you if they want to.
Sure. My personal Twitter is Xin Ran Liu, so XinRanLiu on Twitter. And you can also follow KidFox Games on Twitter, and we're also on Facebook for updates on the game in general. Yeah, and of course, Moon Hunters is now available on Steam and Humble, and we'll be on GOG, I think, next week.
Yeah, I think I could have sworn it said was it the 13th, or was it, I can't remember now. I was looking at it just a few minutes ago, because it's like, you can get it, is it DRM free?
Yeah, DRM free, I think on GOG. And I think
yeah,
Humble,
it just says coming in March.
Humble also has a DRM free option there, I believe.
Right. So, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Bye. And we'll do something after this break.
Professionalism.
Hi, Carl. What are you up to today?
Hello? That's a lovely control pad you've got there, David.
Oh, this one, yeah, I just got it. It's just from Custom Controllers UK. And if you go onto their website, which is customcontrollersuк.co.uk, go on there, look at all the lovely designs that they've got on there.
Oh, really?
And as I say, just go onto the website, click around. If you see something you like, just go to buy it as you normally would. Then in the actual checkout sort of area, there's a little box at the bottom of it, and it's got like a code in there. And if you just type 1UP Gaming, which is all one word, then you will get 10% discount on your entire shopping basket that you're ordering. So you could get quite a big discount there. Oh, I will have to go there now. Yeah, I'd recommend them. They're really good. So, back on with the show.
That was
And
an
we're
awesome
back
interview.
after that.
You know, I really liked talking to him. It was interesting how he got the design for them perfectly. It was kind of like it was kind of like a butt. You know, did anyone else think that?
That'd be
I
me.
just thought it was funny how we kept saying you have to reach for the moon.
Well, I already got it.
Anyway, right, so... Did anyone watch the Nintendo Direct?
No.
I didn't even know what was happening.
Just caught the highlights.
Some journalists we are.
So, yeah.
I watched it, it was shit, no one cares. Move on.
Okay.
Right,
Whoa! Whoa! Hold on.
you should have seen the email I got off
Come on.
Nintendo a few months ago. I don't like Nintendo.
David, you've been blacklisted by Nintendo. That's fucking why.
This
That's
is
not
a
even
really
a
shit
joke.
game.
You've legitimately been blacklisted by Nintendo.
Wow.
I got blacklisted by Game once. Never told this story.
No.
No.
I remember, what was it? It was a couple of years ago, and I really wanted to play the game Rage, that
but
the
that's the
game that ID made.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah. I went on to Game, and they were selling it for £2 whole. £2. I was like, I'll have that for £2. And I went to order it, and I bought it. But just before I bought it and pressed the confirm button, there's a little box that says, "Would you like to gift this game?" And I felt really like narcissistic at this point, so I thought I'd gift it to myself. And then I wrote a little love letter to myself, which was really nice. Then I was like, "This is actually really stupid," so I deleted it all, and all I wrote in the box was, "You're a narcissistic cunt." And then
I thought you were
Sent it
going
to
to say,
myself.
have your dreams reach the moon.
No, and then they cancelled my order and blocked me for 6 months.
It's probably because you used the word narcissistic.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they wouldn't let me buy anything for six whole months.
Online or like actually
Which
in
is-
an actual store too?
I didn't test it in store. Imagine if I walked in and then like alarms went off. Beep beep beep. Blacklisted. Escort him out of the building, please. No, I didn't try in store,
Strip search.
but they just wouldn't let me buy anything. It was really sad.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. A good story. So full of yourself.
Amazing.
I am. And I still haven't played Rage.
That's right.
That's
I
the
haven't.
problem.
I only played it for like an hour or two. So
I don't think I missed much from what I read.
there's a
It
64-bit
wasn't
version, so you
the
missed a lot.
best.
So
Oh, fucked it.
I bought it on 360 and I wasn't impressed.
the console versions were pretty shafted, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't play games on PC.
Yeah.
David, you
I
have a
don't
lot
like
of
people,
heavy
I don't
when
play
it comes to your
games.
games, don't you? Don't play
That's what
these
makes
games.
them
Don't play
a
those
good
If
games.
it's not Sega Rally or Ridge Racer, it's not a game. So,
Oh, did
moving
anyone
on.
watch the Avengers trailer? Not the Avengers trailer.
No, we're not
The
that.
Captain America.
Pussies.
Captain America. Captain America, goddammit.
Yes.
Yeah.
No? Yes? Spider-Man's in it.
Yes.
Well, of course he was. He was confirmed as being in it like 6 months ago. Like
I
a year
know,
ago.
but we have visual proof now, and he's there, and he looks weird, but he sounds really good, and I'm really happy. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. I love Spider-Man.
And he has an actual part.
He has an actual part.
I mean, when they confirm these things, you're like, oh, maybe he'll have like a 30-second cameo at the end, but it seems like he'll actually be part of like the whole main thing, which is cool.
I think they know how much he's worth.
A few
So
dollars.
once they've got him, they reconned him straight into it.
I mean, it is a marvel that Spider-Man didn't tank alongside the movie Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And that awful scene where Peter Parker goes like full emo and starts like thrusting his head into women. Like, I don't know how even Spider-Man managed to outlive that, but it's there.
We don't think of that film, Zack.
But we have to. We have to learn from our mistakes. Humanity has to rebuild.
It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. We don't speak of it. The film, not the series. The series is fucking glorious.
Oh right, yeah.
Like, I've never seen the series. I actually quite enjoyed the movie.
David, I'm going to say something to you now. It's going to sound very rude, but very, very appropriate. Shut up.
Oh, that's actually not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
I turned it down deliberately like anticlimax. It's fine.
I mean, I'd probably be aware that David is the only person in this podcast that has the ability to mute people, and I think he can kick people. I mean, just be aware.
David, I love you.
Oh yeah, I can eject, I can mute, I can present to everyone. That sounds dodgy.
That sounds dirty.
I'm gonna present to you all.
That's like a low-hanging fruit.
So, there's the obligatory Zack knocking the microphone over. So the last bit of news I've got, which it's not really news, but it was just so funny I had to comment on it. Have any of you guys heard of the Calico Chameleon?
Okay, so I actually have a story behind this whole thing.
Oh no.
No, seriously. So just go on, and I'll give my input later.
Right. So basically, it started off as the Retro VGS, and they tried to do a Indiegogo project. I think they asked for about £2 million or something.
Oh, I forget.
And
how
they
much
only
money
managed to raise a couple of thousand or something. So
I was one of those
that
people.
That was like about 2 years ago, I think that was.
And that might have been like maybe it was 2 years ago.
Because it went silent for a while, and then it came back, and they were talking about it, and then all of a sudden, it come back as the Calico Chameleon, which is the exact same thing, apart from they've now got the name from Calico, because Calico holding companies don't do nothing to do with games, but, you know, they still want to put the name out there. And they were showing it off at some sort of, was it the Toy Fair?
Yeah, it was the New York City Toy Fair.
And basically, it had the console in like a case, like a sealed unit, so you couldn't touch it. And it was running a SNES game. And basically what's happened is, a lot of people were saying, if you look at it from the back, it looks like a SNES Junior, sort of like connections. Which, that's not allowed, because they have to make their own sort of components to make their own console. They can't just nick another console and dump it inside. And they said, oh no, it's not, it's nothing to do with that, we'll actually prove it. So a couple of days later, they showed a clear, transparent case of the Calico Chameleon with the circuit boards in. And they were saying, there's proof on our Facebook page, there's proof of our console with its own chips. And literally about half hour after that went up, someone said, that looks just like an old, like, sort of like
Capture
a
card.
PC capture
Yeah,
card,
it was a capture card.
and within a couple of hours there was a picture side by side of the said capture card and the console, and it all lined up perfectly. And all of a sudden, all the pictures got taken down, and then Coleco got involved, and they basically said, we're going to send one of our engineers to their factory to check this console, just to double check there's nothing underhand going on. And if it's not where we want it, we have the right to remove our name. And that's what happened last week. And basically, I assumed when the inspector got there, there'd be nothing there. They'd have just cleared out. Because it sounded proper dodgy what was happening. But it looks like they actually managed to get there. They did the tests. And on their Facebook page, it was like, just to let people know, we're dropping the Coleco Chameleon, so they can't use the name anymore. So it looks as though, yes, it was just a SNES Junior dumped inside a different case that they were then going to sell as a different console. Which I think that's pretty shocking.
My God. So, the guy who started this whole thing, Mike Kennedy, he actually started a website, GameGavel.com, a while ago, and it's supposed to be like a better version of eBay for games.
Yeah, I've heard that way to do trades and stuff.
Right. So he's the founder of Retro Magazine. So Mike has these two things that people know about, and they're known for quality, actually. What's really surprising was that this whole mess started with the Retro VGS. And I have to say, Mike was really ambitious with this project. But the way that he handled it, and the way that he handles things in general, is not so great. I don't mean to badmouth him, because as far as I knew him, he was a good guy. The problem was, when this project started, he changed. I didn't fully personally know him, but I know people that were friends with him. And it's just, I don't know what happened during this whole Retro VGS project, because it started out as a thing that was supposed to be, it had an operating system, but it only used cartridges, and they were proprietary, and these were made so that there wouldn't be like internet updates for games and whatnot. And as a little joke, he got the mold for the Jaguar case. Haha. I thought it was funny at the time. And it was going to be this thing that was also playing older games like SNES games and whatever, like Genesis game or Mega Drive games, I should say, I guess.
I think when they were talking about it, they were saying it would be SNES and maybe a little bit better. Sort of that kind of era. The 16-bit and maybe...
Kind of. It was supposed to have an operating system at the beginning, though. And then, the Indiegogo went up, and everything still seemed fine. And then the Indiegogo failed, obviously. And it just started I feel like it started going downhill from there. And that's, they got the Coleco name. Because the thing is, good story here. So I do podcasts of my own, and they're part of this network called the Retro Junkies Network. And Mike was part of a podcast called the ColecoVisions Podcast. And they obviously talked about ColecoVision games. And the thing is, they got a hold of the guy who owns the Coleco name, and they had him on for an episode, and they basically, everyone basically became friends. And what I'm assuming is that Mike went to this guy and said, "Hey, do you want to actually brand this with Coleco? We could put this console out, and Coleco can be great again, and this, and that." And he probably, knowing Mike, thought, "Oh, hey, yeah, sure." And to be honest, I am somewhat even remotely tied to Mike, and it's not really affecting my podcast, really, because he used to be part of this network, but it's affecting other people's podcasts, and that's really a shame. But the thing is, a lot of people are called out for this whole thing that don't really deserve it. What is that company, Collective Vision, that does homebrew games for SNES and ColecoVision and other older consoles. They got a lot of flack for it because they were supposed to be working with Mike, but not, it wasn't their fault that this happened, and they pulled out support before this whole thing ended. But the problem is Mike was too ambitious, and the way he handles things is not too great. So what happened was they weren't able to get a prototype board out, and it was just accumulating. The problems were just accumulating. And instead of actually going out and saying, "Hey, we're having a problem putting this out, we need a lot more time," he decided to just basically use a motherboard from an SNES Junior. And that's not cool. And then somebody caught him in a lie. And what did he do? He didn't own up to it. He said, no, we have an actual board. And they showed the picture of the capture card. And I think it was Atari H pulled them apart for this, and here we are, just a mess because one person didn't want to say we're having a problem putting out what we said that we were going to make.
Because to me, I think the problem started when Indiegogo's different to Kickstarter. Indiegogo, you just have to give them the idea, the pitch, and it's up to people to fund it.
Right, whereas Kickstarter, you need an actual working thing.
They actually changed it after the Ouya, whereas they said you have to have a working prototype before you're allowed to put it on Kickstarter. So I think they had the idea, but they just didn't have the money themselves to make that prototype. So I think they just took some shortcuts to get it up and working so they could show Kickstarter, look, it's working. And then they could have gone and then got the money funded, hopefully, and then, gone around it ass over face sort of thing, gone the back way around. But it would have probably have been their own board in the end. But
I don't know. See, the problem is
I just think
there was a lot of miscommunication within, I don't know what you want to call it, the company, I guess, or whatever, the group that was doing it, where Mike was telling somebody one thing, and then he was going to somebody else and telling them another thing, and that's obviously not going to work out. So the engineer or whatever who was supposed to be working on it was told that it was actually going to be a bare bones thing. And this was when it was the Retro VGS, and it was supposed to be this thing with the huge the operating system, and it was taking its own cartridges and this, and that, and it just fell apart because of miscommunication as well.
Yeah, to me, it is fascinating. I honestly thought as soon as this all came out, that company would have just gone. You'd never hear of them again. But I guess we're just waiting now to see what... Because, yes, what they did was wrong, but if they come out and do a public apology and say, we had the ideas, we didn't have the funding, we didn't have the time, we'll go back under for another year or two, and then we'll come back and actually show what we've got, then I think a lot of people, especially a lot of the retro people, they might be a bit more forgiving. But it's just one of those things where the story was so fascinating.
Yeah, it's, this story's going to go down in history, but it's so ridiculous, but I'm just shaking my head, and I've been shaking my head for quite some time now about this whole thing.
So I think that'll do for our news section. For once, it wasn't just arsing about. You know, it was actually a bit of proper thing there. So lastly, I put a tweet out saying that if anyone wants to send us any questions, we'll send them some PS4 games. So we got technically 2 questions off the same person. So Lucas Amaral, I think that's his name, sent 2 things. I think one's not a question, it's more of a statement, but I'll read them both anyway.
Does it have a question mark at the end?
The first... No.
No, it's not a question.
Is it?
It's...
Do you hunt the moon?
No, actually...
Because if it is...
Actually, in his game, the moon hunts you.
The first one, I was in doubt, take the... Oh, my screen's just gone off further. I was in doubt, take the Broforce in Plus. After reading several reviews, I came to a conclusion this game is good, recommended.
Good question.
So I think
I also do like the moon.
Broforce is a great game.
So I think basically what he's saying is he wasn't sure on Broforce, but because it was free on Plus, he got it, and it's really good.
So far, that's my favorite question.
Good question. Standard. 5 out of 5.
Do you reckon?
I'd say 6 out of 5, but...
6 out of 5.
So, the proper question. Hello, I would like to know how the themes are chosen for each podcast. Is it a group or just a person who chooses? Thanks.
Wait, did he start with the Halo bit, or did he start with the Broforce bit?
He started... Oh, we're there. He started off with the Broforce one and then went to the question afterwards.
Weird.
Where was the question again?
So, how do we do the podcast? Do we sort of like choose the topics?
Absolutely not. We literally just sit ourselves in front of Skype.
Basically, anyone watching, you can see there, that's my script for the podcast.
I'll tell you what, as somebody who hasn't even been here for a full podcast, it's a mess.
Yes.
George literally joined halfway through. Like, he just popped up out of nowhere. And he was like, hi guys. That's how planned this entire thing is. Yeah,
Well,
like,
yeah,
for better or for worse, that's how it is.
Technically speaking, if I had it my way, I would write
Go
everything
behind
down, give everyone basically like you can mention the say 5 games you've been playing, but only talk about the best game or the worst game or whatever's topical, and everyone does that just so it doesn't take up 2 hours of time. And then we move into like the interview or news and try to keep that down to like 10 minutes. And then that's basically it. But I know for a fact that when you get 4 or 5 people together, it just goes randomly wherever it wants to go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's difficult as well having 4 or 5 people together across like Skype or Google Hangouts or whatever, because there's a slight disconnect between everyone, and that can make things a little bit more weird.
I find myself talking over people a lot.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and like, well, when we
and
did
I
the
just
live,
don't like people.
like when we did the live
You had never
thing,
said that before.
that was like it was a lot more natural, and everyone could actually have a conversation and stuff. Whereas when you do it,
Apart from
like, it's just
Eddie.
a little bit, apart from Eddie, who's
Apart from
arguing
Eddie.
with everyone. Yeah.
That was so good.
I mean, even then, we got to shout at him, like, what more did you
I
want?
nearly punched him.
George, what are
So
you
yeah,
doing?
we don't pick themes.
Yeah,
Boy, that was a really
completely
long
random.
way to say
We make games
no,
be
we
that
don't
long.
pick anything.
So I think that'll do for this week's podcast. It'll be about over 2 hours long by the time it's all finished,
Really.
which will be quite long. Do you know, I was going to actually put up our 56-hour recording as a podcast.
Oh, you don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that.
56
See if
hour
anyone
recording?
downloaded it.
What?
Oh, we did an attempt of a
Guinness World
60
Record attempt.
a 60-hour podcast. We attempted.
How do you do that?
Lots of coffee and lots of
I felt
gas
so ill.
where we stopped talking
I
because we're so
felt
tired.
so ill.
And
they all left me for the last 10 hours on my own.
I think what you should do is just
No, it's
like
longer
rotate
than that.
people out, just having them talk to themselves.
we should rotate. We didn't. We all did it all at the same time.
See, that's the
We
problem.
had no sleep. We barely ate. It was ridiculous.
Wow, that's a bad idea.
It was really bad. Oh, my life.
I tell you what,
Arguments, fights. Oh, fuck me.
I literally can't remember because Matt had to go home to go to university on the Sunday morning, and Eddie and Zack both left at about 8 o'clock at night on the Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sometime around that.
Yeah.
So I was in on my own from 8 o'clock at night up until 8 o'clock the next morning. And I managed to do a 2.5 hour interview with someone, which that was good. I was talking to someone. And then after that finished, I can't remember what the hell I did, but I basically, it got to about 3 o'clock in the morning and I have to stop the stream. I can't do it anymore. So I stopped it all, saved all the files, turned it off. I had 3 hours kip, managed to get onto the plane and get back up to where I lived. And it took about a week before I actually managed to be able to set my PC back up. And when I watched the final sort of hour or so of the recording, I'm literally muttering to myself, not talking, just muttering, and walking around in circles. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But yeah, that was fun. So we're going to be planning another attempt soon.
Oh, God.
Are you up for that, Zack?
What? I can't hear you. What?
So it's the guy with the headphones on. It's
What?
like,
What? What? Hello? Hello? Is someone calling me?
Mom, is that you? Mom.
Yeah. Oh, pizza man's here. Let me get that.
But I mean, like I've said before, but the worst part of it literally was the sitting down. I mean, like there were
Most
not very good
uncomfortable
chairs to
chairs
sit on.
ever.
We just hijacked an office in South London somewhere, or North London. I don't know where it was. It was in London, and we just commandeered an office room and nicked all their bits and bobs, set it all up. And sitting in a chair for 8 hours straight, from your hips down to your lower thighs or your shin sort of area, completely numb. You couldn't feel anything, and you tried to get up and walk about, and then you just got pains.
You're crazy.
Oh, it was horrible, absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Shit,
But next
definitely.
time, I think we're gonna take sleeping bags and some camping beds and do like 4 hours on, 4 hours off, sort of, and just keep rotating round. Cause that was bad. And like, I tried sleeping on the floor, and it was absolutely freezing. And the floor's rock solid, no pillows, no nothing. So
Man,
you couldn't
that's a
sleep.
hard
It was
floor.
yeah, it's in an office thing where it's just got that really cheap carpet. So next time, a bit more preparation. But I mean, I couldn't actually bring anything else with me because I had to bring my massive PC with me and all my cameras and stuff to do all the recording stuff. and I had my Xbox One and my Nintendo Wii U, and other bits and bobs, which was fun. But anyway,
You got dark
please
in the
go.
room.
Well, in your room.
Yeah.
It's nice and bright in my room.
I need to turn the light on.
So go to our website, which is oneupgaming.co.uk. We're on Patreon, so go to our Patreon site, which is patreon.com/OUG. We've got our official merchandise at bluecyborg.com. Just go there and search One Up Gaming. If you want to go to customcontrollersuk.co.uk, you can go there, enter a discount code of One Up Gaming, and you get 10% off from them. Again, funstock.co.uk, enter the discount code One Up, and you can get 5% off from them. We've got Amazon links on our website where if you click on it, it takes you to Amazon, and basically that's how Amazon pay us to advertise Amazon. So if you order anything, we get a small percentage of that sale. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Just go onto our website and it's got the tabs at the top of the screen where it links you to all of those. If you want to tweet us, it's at OUGofficial. Or if you want to email me, it's at contact@oneupgaming.co.uk. We're on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/OUGofficial. And the podcast itself is on Podbean, iTunes, and other... I think it's on podcasts.com as well. So please subscribe to us, rate us, positive or negative, just rate us. It'll be great to hear some feedback. Again, if you send us any questions that we can read on the podcast, I will send out some games for you. I've got loads stashed away somewhere. But that is it from me. So it's been me, David, and I think Matt's disappeared and died.
Yeah, we lost Matt.
But Matt was here.
About 10 minutes
Well, I
ago.
wonder what that stench was.
Yeah. So we've had Zack as well. Lucas has just retweeted saying I'll be giving out 2 codes of PSN codes soon. So we've also had Jordan.
Hello, see ya.
Mr. Robot.
Come on, we got to Mr. Roboto.
I've just seen a picture of someone. I've just seen a picture of Rapid Race. I used to love that game. Old PS1 classic. Sorry. We've also had George on for the first time.
That's my plushy Elcor.
Your plushy what?
That was amazing.
Elcor. From Mass Effect?
David, you'd have met him if you kept playing
that must
Mass
have
Effect
appeared
for more longer
after
than...
you.
Yeah, yeah. I love Mass
I don't
Effect.
do
Mass Effect's
RPG
great.
games.
I'm so excited for Mass Effect Andromeda.
You mean RPGs? I don't think you play role-playing
Yeah.
games.
I do. But it's the same as DC Comics. Why do you call it DC
But
Comics?
that's the name of the company.
No, the name of the company is DC, because they're called Detective Comics. So to call them Detective Comics Comics.
Moon!
It's like pin number. You don't say pin number, it's pin,
Right.
because the N in pin is
You don't
number.
say ATM machine.
Ah!
What is an
Examples.
ATM machine? All you Americans nicking the language and screwing it up.
Sure.
Anyway, I think I'm going to stop this now. So thank you all, and chat next week. Goodbye.
Moon!
Hey guys, Justin here. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot. Yes, you in particular. In that way. And I wanted to say, I think you're great. I've always said that about you. And I was wondering, if you think we're great, if you could give us a quick rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it.
It would really, really help us out in that, podcasty sort of way. And if you're feeling particularly festive, perhaps even a little saucy, maybe stop by our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/OUG and see if you can't slip a few bucks our way. After all, every little penny or whatever space money they use in Europe helps out the show. Thanks for listening. OUG Gaming will always be free, but with your support, we can always move forward and always be better.